them come. This is their fate.
Let me get my Birdman hands in there. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay. Here are my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Today we got quite a bit of topics to talk about. Something huge just happened in regards to Concord. Never happened before in the gaming history, but it's interesting. Actually, I don't know if it ever happened before in gaming history, but this is very new to me. In regards to Concord, we got the PlayStation 5 Pro, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 beta, Phil Spencer talking about what he passed up on, Deadlock impressions, and a little bit of that Big Sean better me than you. Because as we all know, I'm the resident Big Sean fan on this podcast. If you don't know, check out my YouTube video. I've actually done reviews on his music. But anyways, I'm going to talk about that as well because it's important to me. Anyways, anywho, let's get started. But before we do, as always, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, how's life going, what you've been playing. Just simply update the people.
Yeah, we've been hanging out a bit this week, mostly playing Overwatch as much as we can.
A lot of it for us as normally. That's a lot. It was a lot actually. But yeah.
Normally we don't have time at all to play the game, but we've been getting multiple matches a day, Overwatch, which has been fun. I haven't been taking Overwatch seriously in a while, but I feel like we've just been able to get on and play and have fun, which is good. Me personally, not a whole lot I've been playing as far as new video games. I've been playing a little bit of Star Wars Outlaws, but I actually haven't had a whole lot of time to sit down and put into it. Just got to the first main planet, and I'm starting to explore. Got to drive around a bit on my bike, and I'm enjoying the open world experience of it. And I think it's fine. I'll just take my time with it. I don't have to rush. I do have the Ubisoft subscription, but I'll be able to finish it before my renewal date.
Oh, okay.
And decide if I want to hop on Assassin's Creed right away, or I'm not Assassin's Creed. What's the game? Prince of Persia. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right away, or if I want to wait a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Otherwise, I've been tired.
Yes.
I woke up late today for the podcast, just obviously normal everyday life stuff, but I've been going to the gym this week.
Mm-hmm.
I got me a gym subscription out here in Japan, which are expensive, way more expensive than America.
Really?
But I ended up just going to end up going to Anytime Fitness. It's like $70 a month.
Oh wow.
Yeah, for Anytime Fitness, which supposed to be the everyday cheap one. That's the cheapest. A lot of other gyms are over 100, but yeah, went ahead and did it because got used to riding my bike every day to work, and that's a decent cardio exercise. But going to the gym, I'll be able to lift some weights, use some equipment. So I've been doing that this week. I've done it just 2 days so far for 1 hour. And when you first get back into working out, it's your muscles got to adjust.
Yes.
So I have what's it called, delayed. Our sports science major / aficionado Jalen could tell you what it is. But yeah, your muscles got to recover. So after 2 days after working out, it really hits you where your muscles were well, I'm sore and tired and can't bend. But at least that started happening 2 days ago, and then I went back to the gym yesterday, so I can keep pushing myself, and that does help. If you work out while your muscles are sore, I felt a little bit better. But yeah, now this morning I couldn't get up early.
Yeah. No, that could definitely deplete your energy for sure. I was definitely, when I was doing my little workout and I'm supposed to keep me honest because I haven't been doing it for the last like 2 weeks. I need to get back to just doing the thing I signed up for, which is that
Mhm.
VR thing, and doing that because my body did get super tense after like 3 days, and I couldn't like move a lot of muscles, but because I tried to do like a full body workout. But yeah, I guess hearing that, I'm gonna try to get back on the wagon there, and hopefully next time y'all hear me talking, I'll be talking about some of the successful sessions I got in. But
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. As far as other new video games, ain't really bought nothing or played anything.
Hmm.
Um, Overwatch taking up too much time, but it I guess it's a decent place. Since we all, I guess, been playing Overwatch and there's no real like new news. How do y'all feel at least with like the state of the game is right now?
Uh, I guess it's passable. It's not like it's bad to me. I feel like there's a level of quality that's there that has always remained. I think the sessions take way too long to get into. But when you do get into them, they're quite enjoyable. I don't think there's ever been like a lot of situations where we would just constantly steamrolling teams or constantly getting steamrolled. So I feel like their matchmaking is doing its job. It just takes forever. So overall, I'm fine with it. Um, I've gotten accustomed to some of the gimmicky stuff, but overall, yeah, I can't complain. I am starting to already start to play around with a bunch of different characters, which tells me I'm getting bored of something. Um, so whatever it is, hopefully it's not something that's going to impede us ability to continue to play. So that's when I start switching around characters, it's probably because I'm frustrated with the character I got or not really interested in like anyways, that doesn't matter. I just know that I see what's going on here. I got a couple in the rotation, and hopefully I find a new favorite that I could just continue to play with. So
Yeah. No, that's fine. I feel like it's fun, but it's in a spot where there are clearly a couple good characters that are like you have to adapt to. Like
hmm.
yeah, at different points in the meta, like if it's a really good Genji, you might switch to somebody else to fight the Genji. But now with like Sombra being really good and like Magua being oppressive, and just like Venture, it makes it so some of your picks just feel like um yeah, I mean it's just an uphill battle, and if your team overall is struggling, then somebody got to switch to try to
Yeah.
adapt. So that's what I've been feeling. Like sometimes when I'm playing, definitely like a healer is like, all right, they got a Samra. I need to heal my team, but she literally just gonna keep killing me if I'm, a Zenyatta or something. So I gotta switch to somebody who can defend himself, like Baptiste or something. So I ain't
Yeah.
never played Baptiste, but I've been playing Baptiste this week because I need to be able to defend myself.
Yeah.
uh, Same thing with some tanks. At least tanks is 1v1, but when the teams are well coordinated and you got like a really oppressive tank like a Magua, then yeah, it's just hard. It's like I gotta get the healers, but he in my face and I don't know what to do about it.
Yep. Yeah. You're absolutely hitting the nail on the head there. As of now, I feel like I'm not too upset or frustrated with a lot of stuff. I guess I'm just more so trying to get better at the game itself, and kind of just learning where to be and where how to act in certain situations versus like there's no I guess there's no constant win. I guess there's always like positioning and changing. Like there's no way that somebody can just pick somebody and then they automatically get the W. It's more about like playing
Yeah,
all your cards in the right in the right order. So that's where I'm spending a lot of my time just trying to get better at that and playing it when y'all not with me, so I can try to get better at positioning, understanding the maps, and moving around and staying safe. Really. So, yeah. What about you, Jalen?
I mean, as far as like the state of the game, I mean, y'all know me. I play the game in the most incorrect fashion. I only play with ass, but I'm gonna
Yep.
give you 14K damage, yo. I feel like things pretty simple. I don't feel like there's no like immediate balance and thing. I mean, I still got my gripes with Sombra. Um, that's like speaking more like on a magnifying glass. I feel like the game's straight for the most part. I'm getting used to the self healing thing. It's a little annoying sometimes, honestly, but I'm getting used to it. I mean, I've been using it to my advantage too. So I was trying to look at the positive side versus the negative side. So I feel like it kind of helps speed up the game, but at the same time, I feel like it slowed it down at the same simultaneously. I don't know. It's just kind of weird because people got more health and people can retreat and heal versus I'm doing some of the same things. So I don't know if that's necessarily slowing the gameplay down or like speeding it up or whatever. So, but other than that, I mean, I think everything still feel fine. Sometimes I get like headshots with Ash, and I used to calculate the damage. Like, or if they got 200 health, I need a headshot, and then like maybe like a body shot, and they cook. But they kind of took some of that away because people got increased health. So, but I mean, it's fine though. I mean, it gets a game that allows me to socialize, and I still feel pretty engaged to it. Strangely,
Mm-hmm.
after this time, I think when I came back to it after they did the health, since I was so far removed from the game, I wasn't acclimated to it, and I think my patience was a little bit shorter. But now I'm fine. I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
I'd have hopped on it if I wasn't, asleep. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, yep. I mean, I think that's a good place to be. Um, but I know you've been playing Overwatch. Anything else you want to update the people on, Jalen?
I don't really have anything to update anybody on for real, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
What, you got your 10K coming up?
No, the travel play. Yeah, I got a 10K. I bought some new running shoes.
Running
She
shoes, running
ever
shoes.
owned a pair of running shoes. I
Yeah,
went ahead and came and bought some
he
shoes.
got
I
him
think
a
I need to
curve
just
for his
slow,
bunions, right?
basically. Nah, but because I pronate when I run a little bit, they offer me these one-ins. So I'm just like, I'm gonna just go ahead and take care of my stuff. I don't really care about running shoes like that because they all look orthopedic, kind of.
Yeah, they do, but they feel
Um,
really good. I hope yours feel good
yeah.
at least.
So yeah,
Yeah,
mine cool. I just went ahead and swiped. I'm at the cash register. She was like 213.42. I'm like,
bro. I was
what she
mine was
say?
183. I was like, what? Excuse me.
Yeah,
I had to get the New Balances because they had to give me more cushion. I'm kind of flat footed, but not flat footed. So they said I had to put these other ones on. I was like, man, when you get that people to help you and they kind of walk you through everything, that extra tax right there. I'm like, bro, these shoes retail for
yeah,
150. What's going
yeah,
on?
bro. I was like, mine was 160, but then I think I had the insoles. I'm thinking like insoles. I'm like, all right, they're gonna probably hit me for like 25, 30. Them insoles is probably like $50, $60. I'm
Gee
like, what did he
whiz.
say? Like, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So I was
taxing.
just like, it's cool though. I had got like a healthcare discount and stuff. So I know y'all probably looking at my math, but they gave me a discount, so that's why it came out like that. But
Right.
anywho, that so I got my 10K to run, and then after that, I mean, I ain't really got nothing else specific. I ain't really been playing anything new aside from Overwatch, Intermittent, Final Fantasy 7,
Mm-hmm.
and just wish me luck with this 10K. I mean, the 10K ain't nothing crazy. Like I know I can do it and stuff. Like I did a half marathon and stuff, albeit it is a couple years ago, but I just want to see if I can beat a certain time. For some reason, I put in for like an hour, which I should easily be able to do. I want to try to get sub 55 minutes. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad you're kind of keeping on that journey of health is wealth, running around. I haven't been a runner, but I appreciate y'all sharing because it kind of helps me. Well, makes me want to kind of get out there and get that workout in again, man. I lost some weight, but then I fell off the wagon and didn't gain too much, but it's time to get back out there for sure. Uh, but okay, me, Overwatch. playing the game. Finalized the little playroom for the kids, so they was out there. They loved it. They enjoyed it a lot. I think I told you guys I was just painting it last week. But gave them, opened the doors. All I heard was, "Wow, this is amazing!" I said, "Oh yeah." They're gonna have a blast in here. So they really love it. Glad I was able to get it done for them and get a little space so they can take all their toys and just have a little safe area to play around in. So finally finished that up, got that all finalized, and let them play with it. But outside of that, I ain't been on much, you know. I didn't buy the Rogue Ally. I've been trying to minimize big purchases. A lot of video games I've been like lackadaisy on trying to get more engaged with them. Diablo had me in chokehold for a while, so I might go back to that a little bit. But honestly, I've been just so comfortable just chilling and playing that one game, which is, you know, a lot of reasons we're gonna talk about this next one and why it's such an unfortunate tale. But you know, sometimes you just, you know, you only got time for one thing, you know, and that's fine. You don't got much time for everything, and that's kind of one of those cases. So we're gonna go here. We're gonna transition into Sony and stay there for a little bit. We got a couple of topics there, but one of the biggest ones that just dropped today as we were recording this was a pretty important update on the game Concord. Funny story, I literally thought I did not buy this game. Went on my Steam account, saw that I had a refund. And I thought they were just being idiots. I thought they just refunded everybody for the beta. Turns out, no, I'm the idiot. I bought the game, didn't realize I bought the game. They delivered the game, never played it. So, anyways, that's my fault, but kind of leads into the story. Concord, the game, has the game director recently came out today with the statement, and I guess I'll read the statement for you guys. I ain't gonna read it all, but I'm gonna tell you kind of what they stated. We've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of the PlayStation 5 and PC version. Your community, your support and passionate community that has grown around this game has meant the world to them. However, we also recognize that other aspects of this game in initial launch didn't land that well. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6, 2024. They plan to reach a better audience in the future and bring it back. Customers who purchase this on the storefronts will get immediate refund, which they already processed because I got my refund today. And that's the end of this story. Once you have your refund, you no longer have access to the game. You can no longer play it. They refunded me today. I'm assuming I can no longer play it, even though I didn't realize I had it. So, Concord started and launched, what was that, August 23rd? Right? Didn't it launch like August 23rd? I believe it launched on a Friday, August 23rd. In less than 2 weeks, the game is now offline indefinitely. Talk about insane. I don't think this ever happened before. And if it did, it doesn't matter because it wasn't ever this big of a scale. This is an 8-year game. This is a game that they marketed very well up until launch. And this is a game that flat out failed to grab an audience. And what did I say last week? I said I give it a month before they change their tune and go free to play. Never in my wildest dreams would I thought they would take the game off completely and just say, forget it. That's insane. That is diabolical. That is kind of scary for the future of gaming. But it's also a really, really big, stark reminder that you can fail miserably, but I don't think that this is a reflection of what the company itself, that Firewalk Studios, can do. Like, this is just a miserable, bad situation, but it is not the reflection of the company itself. Like, same thing with Titanfall 2. It so terribly didn't get the support it needed, but it was an amazing game. Concord was an okay game with zero to no interest. It wasn't that the game was terrible. It was zero to no interest in playing another game of this copy of this hero shooter. Let me stop there. Concord is gone, guys. React, my Steam panel. React to this news that Concord itself is no longer around. And yeah, just Jim Ryan. React. I don't know.
Well, yeah, Jim Ryan, he's gone. But I'm sure a lot of people who made this decision are still around at Sony. Greenlit the game to say are still around at Sony. Yeah, I'm surprised it happened that fast. Like we were speculating, they definitely want to try to pivot to free to play or do something, but it seemed that the negativity and just the low player count, like right up front, made it clear that they couldn't just let the game sit. I mean, one, they're burning money with the servers. They putting out weekly story content, which is like one of the big sales of the game supposedly. So yeah, instead of just wasting all that money, just take it offline. I think that they want to try to do something else to fix it, but I don't. It's going to take some time, and they have a lot of marketing deals for Concord that are coming up, and I didn't realize it until people were talking about it when the game came out. Concord has this episode in the Secret Level show that they announced a couple weeks ago. So it's like that's a probably multi-million-dollar animation done for this game that's not even available to buy at this point. So anyways, yeah, whatever they're gonna do, they're gonna try to redo the economy, make it free to play, blah blah blah. It might be gone for a couple months. That I think that's wishful thinking on my part.
I think it's gonna be a year, like Multiverses, where they're gonna revamp it, and they probably can do the smart thing, like we always wanted them to do, and just make a clone for Destiny and pull it away, which is I just don't get the concept of the hero shooter anymore, and I feel like they should understand that maybe is a different path. But if they bring this out again and it's just free to play, I still think that it's not going to have a great audience. They literally have to rework the entire thing, and I think that that's impossible. So I think they're just cutting their losses. I don't think the game's coming back. I think that this is a situation where even if they try to make a comeback in a special way, it's not going to land, because that is not what people want, and that's tough to kind of already present your item and no longer and can see that your path to success failed. So what that secondary path that you try to take, it doesn't feel, it's not going to resonate the same, but it's even going to be even tougher for buy-in if the similarities are there. So I think they just are going to take a loss, because it's just not the time to put out a hero shooter. And if they don't change it to the point where it's like almost Destiny-ish, where you can like swap weapons, you don't have the same people doing the same things, and all their specials and everything is like customizable to each character, there is no way the game gets off the ground in a significant way. Like, I literally think that's what they need to do. They can have all the balance and stuff because they already got it, but they need to really truly turn it from a hero shooter to a no-named arena shooter. Yeah, I think that actually would sell. Very much so, better than this. And I don't think it's going to sell in a way that it's going to be not free to play, but I think it's going to probably have a bigger audience. And everybody, I think that was probably what Destiny could have done with their PvP upcoming game, or whatever they were going to try to do with their secret game. But I think now it's time for a different place, different unique situation to kind of come out. But the whole concept of this game is hero shooter, tactical, going in, getting certain things. The whole premise around it. So they can't change it. And if they, so I think that it's gonna either not come back or it's gonna fail miserably when it does. So, um, yeah, man, I have never seen it happen like this before, to be honest. Um, because I don't think there's no amount of time of what this is gonna be in off the shelves, Josh. That's gonna change much. I mean, what is your you? I know you say you had an optimistic outlook, but in a real life situation where money is on the line and the concept was proven to be flawed, do you think the modeling will help?
It depends on what they can. Well, they got to look at the numbers again. Obviously, they spent a whole bunch of money on the game, and it has to be worthwhile to put the game back out to try to make some of that back, or if it's better to just write it off, and close the studio, lay off people, blah blah blah, and make money back that way. Um, Going free to play is obviously the best situation, not the best situation, but that's the situation that's the best if you want to sell the game, because at least at bare minimum, anybody who wants to try it is available, and then they have a way to spend money and give it to the developers. However, that amount of money, I'm not going to say is going to be enough to cover the whole development of the game. So maybe it's not even worth putting the game as free to play. But at
Yeah,
least in that situation, it could find an audience. See, if the game capped out at 700 people, maybe they can double that or triple that just from free to play players. I mean, the game count was so low. It's just like, even if they re-release it in 6 months, I definitely think it'll get more than 700 players just for people wanting to see what changed.
yeah,
But does that actually translate into money? I don't know. So they have to do something. You brought up multiverses as an example. The big difference, of course, is that they had a positive reception from the beta, and so coming back a year later, people were still positive on the game and willing to try it. People were not positive on Concord, so I don't know if there's going to be anybody in 6 months waiting for Concord. Um,
well, I was talking about more timeline. They took a year. I was talking about
I mean,
timeline.
well,
Yeah,
later, yeah, later.
yeah,
Going free to play is going to take a lot as far as like um changing the economy and testing that it works, and then
yeah,
testing that the progression works, so that people don't mistakenly get all the characters and skins in 1 week, whatever. So they gotta do a lot of testing on that. But yeah, I think a year would be best. That way they have time to actually remarket it. But at the end of the day, it's Sony, which is a very big company. They spent like $100 million on this game. And two, the game industry is already in a rough spot where you put out a good game and you still gonna get laid off.
yep,
So I don't think it's looking good for Concord, just because the failure was so bad, or it was such a big failure, that there might be no confidence in the game.
yeah.
I mean, there shouldn't be a whole lot of confidence. It was like, I don't know if there's anybody at the studio who's like, we can turn this around if we just do 1, 2, and 3. Everybody might just be like, it's time to move on.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that is a good observation for on their part. I think that they really do need to just at this point, and I hate to be frank, but move on because it is at this point the to me, if I was a head of a company and I just put out an IP that had no recognition, had no background, had no history, and it flopped majorly, and my choice was to give the developers that had 8 years to make a great game and make a great concept more time to reimagine that concept, I would rather just start with a new IP. Like Concord already has the bad press that I don't need associated with the game I'm trying to release. So if I'm thinking of it from a standpoint of a businessman, It makes zero sense for me to revamp this. I understand the assets are all there. Like, there's a cost to how much it costs to make the game, but their ability to create that game over the 8 year span, and they come out with this, and it bombed so badly. I have no trust in Firewalk's ability to turn it around, because they thought that they sold me this as if it was the best thing, but at the same time I bought into it. So if I bought into it, there was a reason why I thought that this was going to do well. Now that I'm here, now that I've seen the results, now that I've seen how much it costs to continue to run it, how much it costs to put this back into development, I think my choice would be to write it off and kind of start over, because I see no value in the IP as of now. Like, there's nothing that will show me that, oh, somebody resonated with this, oh, somebody wanted that, because it's brand new. Like, what's the point of holding on to the IP? That's my real thought. Maybe I'm thinking of it too vaguely, but to my opinion is that it hasn't built anything, so I'm not losing anything. I'm losing the cost to operate a game at a loss. That's what I'm losing, and that's a win for me, because I could just write it off. I can continue to move on to new games, new operations, and put Firewalk on something else that I find may be beneficial, or just I don't want them to do this. Don't close the studio, but find something that they could be equally beneficial with. I think that this game itself should be rebranded as it's just not the game that nobody, it's the game that no one wants, and that's the problem. So I don't know. It's a really tough spot to be in, man. I just see it going one way. I do see this game never seeing the light of day again, and I do see them writing it off as just a problem and just finishing it up that way. Same thing they did with Last of Us. I think they see the benefit in just cutting ties. They go back to the focus group and everybody's saying the same thing. Your character sucks. The combat sucks. There's nothing meaningful to show here. The storyline sucks. You just spent all this money to do these things. Like, what are we focusing in on here? Are we revamping the whole game? Like, what is the problem? Like, can somebody point to what the problem is? And I think the situation is that there's so many different parts of this game that's a problem, that it does not fit well in anything. So, yeah, fundamentally it shoots good, but most games shoot good, and I think Destiny has the more of a backing that people will actually tie into and love. It's like, let's make a Destiny PvP then. Let's put them on that. Let's just kind of close this shop. And I think that that's what's going to be the case. So, and I'm here for it. I'm here for just Destiny. I am. I ain't gonna lie. If this is going to get me to that, fine, so be it. Sacrificial lamb. But I don't want anybody to lose a job because of this. And I think that is going to come. But my hope is that they figure it out. But we ain't heard much from you, Jalen. I've been talking too much. What's your thoughts on Concord?
I mean, I think I think you and Josh both made good points. My thoughts on Concord, like I said before, a couple podcasts ago, I don't feel like it had that much of a soul to it. It had good gunplay. I mean, that was probably the best thing about the game. But I didn't have anything really entice me to play it. So with that being said, I never felt justified to spend the $40 on the game. Maybe if it was free to play, but $40 is too much for what I was getting in the game. It didn't really feel like it was anything to keep me playing the game. No rewards to work towards or anything like that. I'm saying they probably did have some of that stuff, but it wasn't anything that was viable, as far as using my time. And then overall, if you is trying to get one of those things, whatever the rewards is, you should be enjoying playing the game. And I didn't really see much enjoyment when I was playing the beta. I think you and Josh both made good points. If I'm remembering what Josh said correctly or interpreting it, it sounds like, try to get what we can out the game to help offset some of the costs that we do, some of the production costs.
Yeah.
And then your standpoint, I mean, you might as well just cut a loss and save time and more resources instead of trying to fix things that's already broken. I mean, I could see both standpoints. I think ultimately it depends on what the number is looking like, how much they can actually recover from this overall loss. And then additionally, I mean, they didn't gave people money back and stuff too, right?
Yes.
So yeah, just really what they can recover from this, is it really viable? It kind of sucked because a lot of people did put their time and, effort into it and stuff like that. So we don't know how that looked, with the studios, if it's gonna get shut down. I don't think that happened, but yeah, I think it's just a hard thing to really try to wrap my head around, because I never seen anything like this happen before. And even if they pivot and make it free to play, I can't say that it would still get my attention. I mean, I feel like the game just have to go to an overall different direction altogether. And essentially, I'm not saying they need to do the same exact thing, but I mean, at one point in time, Fortnite was a game that you paid for before it switched to a battle royale. So I was thinking about something like that. But again, with the assets and everything in the game, I don't know if they could really switch it to make it more enticing. I just feel like it just have to be a different game. And I mean, I don't think calling it Concord would probably be the best thing. So,
Nope. Nope. It
but
can't
yeah,
exist in the same world like that. That's why it's the problem. That's why I was like, cut your losses, man. Figure something else out. I think there's plenty of other games that Firewalk can work on to take some a lot of the great similar ideas and thoughts around this game, not turn into a hero shooter, but create something that one has a backing people will love. Because Firewalk and Bungie are in a bad spot right now. They need a win. They need something meaningful to occur. And I feel like having a company that knows how to do, combat well, but also has the fundamentals of what Destiny could be, I think those are a match made in heaven right now. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying I know what's going on in PlayStation, but it makes most sense. Like, take the company that just was working on this 8-year catastrophe, understands they had the fundamentals to do something like this, and put them with a company that already has fundamentally a sound audience and player base that are interested in having a much better PvP experience. I don't see that being a problem for them to figure out something. But you don't gotta take my sauce. Y'all can still keep doing what y'all doing. I just think that it's idiotic to try to make this game special, because it ain't that special. Nothing about it made it special, and that's why it flopped. So I don't know, man. I think it's pretty clear, but you know what I mean, I'm just a guy on the internet with a mic, so don't listen to me. Any final thoughts on Concord and their situation?
No. I mean, I think it's good they took it down. For just overall for the situation, there, the people playing it probably, not to say that they love the game or anything, but
They're not
the
having a
player
great
count is so
experience.
low.
Yeah.
You're not gonna lose a whole lot on either side, and they're getting their money back after 1 week. So at worst case scenario, I don't think it hurt their player relationship, but it does make people question any multiplayer game from Sony in the future.
Yes. That's why they got to hide it under the Bungie tag. But yeah, I think that there's plenty of ways to look at this, but the key focus here is that Sony decided that and Firewalk Studios, either Sony more or Fireworks more, decided that it was important for them to put out a respectable piece of work, and this didn't meet their expectations. So they decided that it was key to move back on this, to refund everyone and really go back into the table and kind of figure out what is the experience people are looking for. And honestly, that I'm hoping that whatever they decide to do next works, regardless of if it's my idea or if it's something else or if it's like a change overall. I want them to succeed. I don't want anyone to kind of be a failure, or fail, especially when it comes to like these larger games that a lot of people depend on to kind of feed their family. So here's to future games, but Honestly, I think about it and how much it costs to make a game, how much it costs to make a movie. A movie is a lot easier. What you think? Do you think the cost of a movie is cheaper than the cost of a game? 8 years in development. It don't take that long to make no movie, man.
Yeah, well, movies
Salaries.
are way cheaper and they have a bigger I don't know if they have a bigger profit margin, but they cost a whole lot less. Like Marvel movies unfortunately costs too much, like 200 million, but even something I think like Oppenheimer was like 100 million.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I just kind of guessed that number. But that's I would say a better investment than Concord was.
Would y'all invest in a video game? Like if you had like a venture capitalist company, if you had like an investment company or something like that, would you invest in like because some of these companies like Firewalk, they had to do rounds of investment for people to buy into it. So to pay off their investors, like how do you do that when your game flops? So I guess would y'all ever take the risk and invest in a game that y'all believed in, like a Concord?
As a individual who likes video games, no. But as a investor, the benefit is there, but it's not a I don't know the right terminology, so I'm just trying to explain the best I can. Video games are not a fast return
Mm-hmm.
investment, especially now as development gets longer and longer. You know, GTA 6 is going to be the biggest game ever, most expensive game ever. It's been in development for probably 15 years, realistically. So it's like, as an investor who wanted to put money on GTA 6 right after GTA 5 came out, what does that timeline look like? You know, I go to Rockstar, I put my money in Rockstar, waiting 5 years, nothing come out. Waits 10 years, nothing come out. Now we get a trailer and you know, maybe the game is coming out next year apparently somehow, but it's like, what does that look like for me as an investor? That just seems like a waste of my time when I could put that money in anything else. I can put the money on Nvidia, I can put that money into Sony Pictures, you know, all this other stuff. So yeah, video games I think are a hard sell for investors. They have to be willing to believe in the medium. So I think a lot of investors are putting money in there. They don't care about video games, which is fine. They want to make money and they do in business. But if they don't believe in, I guess, the potential, then there's a hard sell for investors. Like if you look at Nintendo, I think that was a really good case. Like back during the Wii U era, people's like, oh, just sell your IPs, just become third party, just do this. Nobody cares about, I mean, people like Nintendo games. Nobody cares about Nintendo consoles. And I think that was true for investors who were just looking at the books. But as far as the potential Nintendo has, did a
Mm-hmm.
complete 180, best selling console. They got a whole bunch of money, and the people can't wait for the next thing. And Nintendo's like, well, you're gonna keep waiting because we don't want to put it out yet.
Yeah.
It's ready when we say. So yeah, I don't know how to explain that in investor terms, but yeah, I think video games have a lot of long term potential, but as for investors, probably smarter moves to make in the short term.
Yes. Okay. I can agree to that, and I think that there is a lot of value in both. But I think that there's a cool way to look at it too. I think that from an investment standpoint of just looking at what the games do, and I think that's a lot why how the game market is kind of trending too, because a lot of people are having to deal with stockholders, they have to deal with investment partners, they have to deal with um investment companies and like investment partners essentially, and that shapes what will be greenlit, you know. So it's tough, man. Ain't nobody trying to buy no. You ain't gonna find that many God of Wars, but and and I think there's a heavy focus on mobile games and like you can tell, man. It's just like it's such a different type of. It's just so different now, so different. But anywho, let's move on. What's next?
So we didn't actually, I guess. Well, we did talk about our weeks, but we didn't talk about what y'all thought about Deadlock.
Oh, I wanted to stick with Sony real quick. I wanted to talk about the
Oh, okay,
PS5,
yeah.
and then we was gonna move into.
What
We could talk
what
about
else
something.
going on with the boys at Sony?
The
Last of
PS5
Us.
Pro.
Oh,
Nobody cares.
yeah. I'm a
know.
can't wait to play Concord on my PS5 Pro.
Yeah, man. Honestly, I have. This is the most my collection of video games systems has been collecting dust ever. Like, and I feel bad because I actually genuinely like both systems as like hardware. They're like very nice and really good. But honestly, I just ain't had a lot of interest in any of the games been put out. And there's a lack of interest, but it's also just a lack of wanting to engage in their ecosystems. And I feel like uh Xbox knew that, or at least they kind of had an inkling of what was going to happen, because I always wrote off Nintendo. I've never written off the other two, but now I'm starting to write them off too. And it's not like I'm choosing Steam over them. I'm literally just going where it's most convenient. If it was more convenient to actually continue to play on my Xbox, my PlayStation 5, I would do that. But they're not more convenient. They're not cost effective. So I feel like Microsoft had an understanding of that and at least trying to mitigate the feeling of that with Xbox Game Pass, with cloud gaming, with all this extra stuff they're trying to add in. Because really, them as platforms, it's more benefit to be out of the platform than to be in it right now. And I think that there has to be a way to figure out how that kind of goes back to where it was before. And unfortunately, the way the world's moving, they can't afford exclusivity. They can't. It's not a thing that they can do anymore. So Sony will still get my money for the exclusive things that they do. Timed exclusives, not that much. But if I want to play something day one, they may get my money still. But it is not a. I have a. There's now a lack of FOMO because I know these games are built on PCs. I know that in order to continue to make money and be profitable as a company, they're either going to come to a place that's convenient for me, or I can just play it later on a much better system.
I think that's a good point where we've been doing timed exclusives, or console exclusives for it feels like a whole generation, but it started last generation, maybe in the middle. So now everybody kind of expects a multi-platform version of the game at least to be available at some point. So
with all the DLC.
I think, yeah. So they can't even, I guess, sell you on get you with the FOMO, because I think you have to believe in the FOMO for it to work. So I don't believe God of War Ragnarok is going to be exclusive, because you already have shown that you put all your games out, and then here's God of War Ragnarok. So you don't even got to announce that it's console exclusive. I assume that it's console exclusive and it's going to come out later. And with Xbox doing their putting games on PlayStation, even though they're saying this is not a confirmation that all of our games are being on PlayStation, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. And sure, maybe that's true, but to the general audience, it seems like if Xbox announces a game, I think the expectation is going to start to be that it's going to be multi-platform at some point, maybe within a year or two. Yep. So I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, it does change people's perspectives and it makes them a smarter customer. And as a smarter customer, they can spend their money more wisely how they want. You know, back on the PS4, like nobody expected Bloodborne to come to PC at that point, so everybody bought it on PlayStation. And it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, games were made differently then. There was no PC version ever planned. But now anything that's being made, there's definitely another team looking at the PC version. And so
Yeah.
I think that's just the expectation now.
Yeah, and then the little ones that don't come or don't make it, it doesn't. I honestly, it doesn't matter to me anymore. So I think that they have positioned themselves in a worse spot. I'm not, and I think I absolutely think that Xbox led the charge here, but I think Sony had to play games too, because they were really losing money as well. Uh, but now, honestly, I just don't have a reason to cut either of them on, and I gotta pay for online. I gotta pay for the peripherals. I have to pay for the expansion slots, and it just feel like at this point it's not convenient. It's not a value add to my life. It's more of a hindrance because yeah, I'm buying things that's only meant for this system and this system alone when I can buy a PC and kind of have continue to build up off that. And I understand there's a learning curve to owning a PC, but you can't survive a company off people's learning curves. At some point, they're gonna have to buck back. They're gonna say, "I'm gonna learn it because this is stupid. Why would I keep paying for this? And I could just learn this and make myself save myself so much more money." Like you cannot run a business on the hopes that nobody gets smarter and want less convenient solutions for a more productive and more cost saving approach. Like you can't run a business like that. So I think Microsoft had the right idea where they kind of kept going, but this PS5 Pro just does nothing for me. Like literally nothing. It tells me nothing. It provides nothing. There's no value add here. This is literally garbage to me. Like I really feel like they have to realize that the boat is turning. That they cannot keep flowing down steady winds, fellas. Like that's not the same no more. Like they're talking about it's comparable to a 7700. And I'm just like, why would I buy? Why would anybody ever buy it? Now I get if people are in the ecosystem, they understand it, they like it. Cool. But the reason why the PlayStation 5 I feel like had the amount of success it had was FOMO. People really, really thought that you couldn't get one if you didn't buy it immediately. And that was a big success for them and people obviously scalpers. But honestly, I don't think a lot of people play games like they used to. And I don't think that I don't think that they're going to have a majority for much longer. I honestly think people are going to go where it's most convenient. That is why we love our cell phones. Regardless of what they do, what they're meant to be for, we love it because they bring it to us at source. Like this is something I'm always going to be in front of. Maybe not, maybe my premium gaming experience, I'm going to continue to push it out into something else, but it just feels like they're running their business on borrowed time. And this PS5 Pro just tells me that they're trying to gain a little bit more of that borrowed time. But at some point, if I'm upgrading from a PS5 to a PS5 Pro, and the value add is that we get a little bit better ray tracing, but it's not NVIDIA, it's not showcasing like what is the incremental value here? Like people don't even care about this type of stuff. So what is the value? How do you keep selling it? Do you just make crappier games that's not optimized up to the point where, like, all your Sony exclusives are optimized, right? Like, there's no Sony exclusive that's not like optimized to a T. And there may be third party exclusives that's not so good, but do we really buy Sony consoles for third party exclusives? Are they going to start selling us crappier games to kind of benefit them in the long run when they sell the Pro? Like, what is the value here?
Yeah, because Wukong runs poorly on PlayStation, but I'm not gonna spend another $700 to play Wukong better when I could, if I really just want to play Wukong, I play it on PC, or just keep playing it on the console that I already have that I already spent all this money on, because
Yeah, it's super tough. I just don't see the value in a mid gen upgrade anymore. And
yeah, it worked last generation just because that generation went on so long, and they added. I want to say, there was space to improve.
yeah,
We can 720, 60. Maybe you can bump up the resolution, or you can go from 30 to 60 on some games. But we're not getting that this generation. God of War ran at God of War Ragnarok had a couple of different performance modes. They all ran well. Same thing with Ghost of Tsushima re-release. Same thing with Spider-Man. The third-party games, they, even though if they had bad performance, they're not like I would say it. They target one performance platform. There's room for improvement, but it's not worth buying a new console for. Like, I would never buy a new console to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at like a higher frame rate. Just because that performance mode did bad. I think y'all could fix the performance mode on the developer side instead of the console having to do the extra work for more money.
exactly. And I think a lot of the value with all these newer consoles was that they could run older games better, but it wasn't like it was an add-on. It wasn't the selling point. It was the add-on of, yeah, you're going to get a new console, but not only will you get these new consoles, you're going to have the ability to play your older games better. And I think that that's how that should be positioned. It should never be at the forefront of a purchase. And I think that there's value in an upgrade. I'm not saying that there's not, but that it's a meaningful upgrade versus a kind of incremental. And yeah, I just don't see it for them right now. Sony has some of the greatest optimization I've seen for a console in a long, long time. And I just don't think that there's a value in pushing out a little bit more pixels when you're already running at 4K 60. So, I don't know, man. I don't know who this is for, to be honest, but I'm hoping it finds an audience. I always am, but um, who do y'all think is more responsible for the kind of situation we're in with this game and stuff? Sony or is it Xbox?
I mean, I think it's just I personally think it's just the way the industry is going in general, because players expect better games every generation, and they have to keep spending more money to make better games. And so we just kind of reached the point where it's really expensive and the money's not coming in fast enough. So something's got to give, something's got to change. The hardware becomes more expensive, the games become more expensive, but as consumers, we don't like that. So, but yeah, the bills got to go somewhere. We just got to figure out who paying it.
Yeah. Okay. Anything to add to that, Jalen? Before we move on to our next topic.
No, I ain't really got nothing to add to it. I mean, even the question you just posed, I mean, I don't know who's necessarily more responsible. It's just kind of trash to see that, I think the consoles and optimization and came some distance, right? But you know, with the PS5 Pro, I can't find a good reason to buy it. Like, I feel like optimization ain't been a problem this generation, like compared to like the last one or the one before. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's a really big um disconnect when it comes to where we are as a consumer and where they think we should be. Um, and I don't even know how that's going to get bridged. But I don't know. Maybe this is what they think will allow them to keep the lead. Maybe it's a substantial. It's an offering. It's not like it's a requirement. Maybe their PS5 games still seem very optimized and ready to go. Um, but yeah, I just don't see a lot of people putting a lot of value on the PS5 Pro at this point. And maybe GTA 6, GTA 6 runs like amazing on there, and we know that's not coming for a year, but everybody has that FOMO of, missing out on that year. That could be something. I think we initially
Yeah,
talked about that when we first mentioned this, is that really GTA 6 would be the last thing that they could ever say that would make people want to buy a new console simply for. So maybe
yeah,
that's their
but
target.
also it has to be like a clear like quality difference where it's like the PS5 version got 10 NPCs on the screen and the PS5 Pro got 100.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to keep guessing at it, but there has to be a value opportunity here. I just don't see it for in the way games are going. They're getting more expensive and less interesting, and they're not getting less expensive and more interesting. Like there's just a difference. So but anyway, let's move on. We talked about it a lot. Let's talk about Deadlock. I know you mentioned that, and so we played a couple I played two matches, and I guess let's not quantify it because literally the game is still in alpha mode, and it's just trying to go in and get a feel of what the game is. When I played it, I thought that it had a lot of cool things, a lot of cool aspects to it that I enjoyed, and I thought felt like it was like different than what I would normally play. It did give me a few Titanfall 2 vibes where I was like kind of using minions to kind of, you know, score points for the team or gain something for myself to help the team further. So I did like that aspect of it. I'm gonna leave it there so I don't take up all the points. But we played a little bit together. Jalen first time playing probably mouse and keyboard in a very long time. Uh, but talk to us about or whoever want to go first. Talk to me about the Deadlock experience.
Uh, Josh, you can go. I mean, well, I can just say real quick. I mean, my experience with the game, I haven't played on a mouse and keyboard like Deontay said. I don't know how long. My over basis of being able to play on a keyboard is real limited, so I probably ain't enjoyed the game as much as I could have. Um, so I got real limited, say so on the game. I mean, I think the game graphics and all that type of stuff. I mean, I ain't really got much to say on that because I don't know how to optimize nothing about PCs. I know they got like a little simple thing like you want more graphics or you want more like performance and stuff like that. So I kind of toned that down just a little bit. The game ran smooth. It seemed like it could be an interesting game. Like it seemed like what you call the game? Smite. Terrell be playing that game all the time. It was basically like that game. But
Hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I ain't got a whole lot to say about the game and stuff like that. I thought it was an interesting concept though. So, but that's all I got to say.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, talked about Concord, not Concord, my bad, Deadlock, a little bit, a couple podcasts ago, And yeah, I've played League of Legends, and so like I understand. Well, I played a lot of League of Legends to like fully understand the genre because the genre is very different than a lot of other games where you got to pay attention to the NPCs. You have to level up, but also you have to like shop and stuff because like otherwise you're not going to progress or get stronger. So understanding how that stuff works, I could see the idea of why people who enjoy that might want to play Deadlock. But yeah, that being said, I don't know if I'm in love with that style of game. One, like you said, it's a PC focused game, keyboard and mouse. I did decently enough where I can, do my job with the character that I picked. But like if I'm really competitive, it's a close match, like a Overwatch match or something. Not saying gameplay, but the match is close and we fighting for objectives and stuff like that and doing team fights. I don't know if I'm be very good at that or if I'm gonna enjoy it. But at least the few characters that I played, I like to see their progression and how strong they got, and I can see myself being more effective, killing the minions and fighting the guardians and stuff like that. So I don't know. For me, I think if it's uh, it finds a successful audience and people are playing it a lot, I might check in every now and then to see what's going on, to see, all the new character is interesting and stuff like that. But I would definitely play this game casually at best.
Agreed. Agreed. Like it, and I'm glad it found an audience. Um, it probably not gonna be me like for a lot of it, but I think that there's a lot of interesting things happening, and that's kind of why I wanted to give you guys time to talk about it, because I was gonna be like, it ain't for me, but it is a game that showcases this uniqueness in a very strong way. At least from what I was able to play, like there was a lot of interesting mechanics, a lot of variety. There was so much variety thrown at you at the beginning. It's kind of ridiculous. And there's just a polish about the animations, how you kind of swing from things. It's obviously that it's an alpha, so I've seen some few janky stuff, but overall, there was a lot of cool points to it, and I think that they could get this to a space where it could be played well with controller. So I think they could do that, but it's to take some time. It takes time to think about it and put that together. So, anyways, there's a lot to say about Deadlock, but then at the same time, we don't have much.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
gonna
also
replace
early, so
Overwatch.
you don't want
Yeah,
to go too deep on judging
yeah.
and stuff. Like I said, with it being really early, like some of that textures were not there, or just like the game flow or the UI in general. But I think for it to be a game with a high learning curve, I think I guess, playing together helped because if you just drop this game on your cousin lap, you're like, here, play Deadlock. A lot of people are just gonna fall off in like 2 minutes because it's kind of yeah, it's a high learning curve. So I at least appreciate that we were able to like finish a full match together. I know
Mm,
you say you play more, but we were able to finish a whole match together with I feel like not too much trouble. Obviously, it was bots, but
yeah.
that still it high concept and a lot to learn.
Yeah, I think that are the sticking points. Like, there's cool there. I think I was just grading it on a scale of, will it replace Overwatch? Absolutely not. I just think that it's going to be something that kind of lives along the side of it for me, as in regards to like they're not that they competing with each other, but I think it's in regards to what's going to have my time. I think Overwatch will still have most of the bulk because it is simpler and more straightforward gameplay. I think Deadlock has a more strategic approach to it. That's interesting when you have the right squad, and I think that is the key. So overall, though, I had a pretty good time. I wasn't too bummed out about it or anything. I felt like it had some cool moments. I felt like some cool powers. There's definitely a lot of characters already, so I feel like they put some lot of time into this before they let people see it. And it's crazy because they had 100,000 concurrent players in this invite only. So
Mm-hmm.
while Concord was set at 700. I can't stress enough how crazy the community is and how they pick and choose what they gonna support. But Deadlock comes from a company that is battle tested, that they know have value in it, and when they played it, they had fun. So it's tough to beat that. But yeah, I feel like they're gonna have definitely a huge success story here on their hands once they decide to finally release. Speaking of success stories, Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, man. The time has come. The time has ended. I think it's still going actually. Goes till September 6th. Um, People like it, which is pretty surprising. People actually like it. People are saying that this is probably one of the better Call of Duty betas that they've played in a long time. At least I've seen like no good Twitter poll. I don't know. I get all my information from Twitter. I'm lying, but a lot of people on Twitter were praising the game overall. What are your have y'all seen anything about this beta or anything like that? It's pretty big, but I know that we kind of we have a tunnel vision sometimes. So, have y'all seen anything about this beta?
I've seen memes and stuff about it, but it's mainly about the omnidirectional stuff.
Oh yeah, my man did
Yeah,
a 720 in the air and popped him in the leg with a sniper. I've seen that.
yeah, that's about
uh yeah, there's a lot of craziness going on with the Omni movement. There's a lot of fun people are having a lot of fun uh with the sorry, it's called like spatial audio, where you can kind of not spatial audio, but it's like when you're in the same location, proximity chat. So when you grab somebody, they turn the proximity chat on so you can talk to the person that you're kind of holding as a hostage in the game mode too. So there's a lot of interesting social media things that people are grabbing onto. That's like, oh, this is really cool. This is really fun, and people are just enjoying the features and highlights of the game. People are really liking some of the weapons, the maps. People are kind of saying they're okay, but I think the big standout is one of the maps was Skyline. That's the one that was really I guess big. But yeah, I'm kind of glad. I wanted to play the Black Ops 6 beta. I mean, I wanted to play the single player. I don't think I was gonna play much of the multiplayer unless we all started to really start to find some enjoyment in it and wanted to hop on with more than just us three. Maybe that's a way to get more people in the group. But honestly, yeah, I could take it or leave it. There's nothing to it. I'm glad that it's in Game Pass. Because we had that itch last year. We scratched it. And I don't know. I don't think nobody regretted their purchase, but it was definitely not a purchase that we got a lot of value out of. I would say that for myself. I didn't get a lot of value out of it. I did a lot of grindy stuff up until the game, and then when the game came out, I could care less about anything I grinded for. So yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Anything that stuck out to you? Any major concerns you saw? Anything that you looking to change? This is a new Black Ops. This is a special. Talk to me. I know y'all some you're some
So
aficionados in this, so talk to me about Call of Duty Black Ops.
Yeah, I am interested in playing it just because it's Call of Duty and having fun, especially if y'all get on. So I'll try it in Game Pass. I just gotta say that I think this reception of it is a bunch of cap. Uh,
Oh.
the best Call of Duty beta experience in a long time is cap because Modern Warfare 3 came out last year and people loved that beta
Mm.
and probably even the betas before that. So I don't know what is going on. I feel like that is like the Call of Duty YouTubers saying something about Call of Duty that is just not true because it's a Call of Duty cycle. Like the same thing is gonna happen when the next Call of Duty came out. Black Ops 6 was okay, but it was ruined by skill-based matchmaking and it was ruined by blah blah blah. And so hopefully they fix that with this new one. And it's like they've been doing that for forever. And I think Call of Duty is in a decent spot and Black Ops 6 might be decent as well. But it's just funny to hear that this is the best Call of Duty we had in a long time. And y'all loved the one last year. What are you talking about?
So
So
they've been saying
anyways,
that all right. They've been saying that every year, Josh.
yeah, I think I I think people liked Cold War. It probably has some issues with some game modes or some balance or stuff like that, but people like Cold War, and then they like Modern Warfare 3. And I think we've gotten away from like the really bad Call of Duty games. Like, so I don't know what the
Like
metric is.
Vanguard. Yeah, that's the last one I heard. That was really bad.
Yeah, I think Vanguard was like not received well, and the World War II ones were not received well. So it's like, yeah, we're way past that. So I don't know how Call of Duty is way better now. So, anyways, to set those expectations going into Black Ops, I'm expecting the exact same experience I got last year, where you can be grinding your guns, you're gonna unlock your attachments, you're gonna unlock your skins. It's gonna be sweaty gameplay, but that's what I'm signing up for because that's what Call of Duty is. So I'm not expecting anything different.
Yeah.
So I can play it with y'all, and it'll be fun to play with my friends. But again, I guess just because it's on Game Pass, that's gonna be the selling point for us to play it because it's accessible. So if you get tired of it, you just drop it, never worry about it again.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. I feel like there. I feel like there is going to be a same thing. I'm more interested. I feel like it's gonna be the same, more of the same. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm sorry, I'm rambling because I'm trying to get to my bigger point. And let me hold before I do that. Jalen, any thoughts on the beta? Thoughts on the Call of Duty Black Ops 6? Are you going to extend your Game Pass? Talk to the people.
Nah, I don't know. I gotta see, bro. I'm thinking now. I
Oh my
gotta
goodness!
think about it, bro.
Any thoughts, man? Do you think the Omni movement is cool? Do you any thoughts or anything that you've seen or thought about in regards to this Black Ops 6?
Just a little mad I didn't get to play it. I just started downloading and I was just like, dang, it's too late.
No, it runs to the six. Six. You got time. You got like 3 days. You still play it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go cut it on today. Maybe. Maybe. I'm gonna play on Overwatch.
I'm almost certain they runs. Yeah, the open beta is from the 6th to the 9th. Oh, sorry. So the early access is to the 4th, and then so you got till tomorrow, and then open beta starts 6th to the 9th.
Oh, okay, I bet.
Yeah. So, yeah. My overarching thing is that how does this impact the bottom line of Call of Duty now that they put it in Game Pass? Because I ain't buying it, but I knew I was never gonna buy it. I don't. How many dollars is that going to take away from the Call of Duty thing? That is really what I want to know because Call of Duty isn't a normal game. Call of Duty isn't one of those games that oh, we can try something, we can test it out, and we'll see how it goes. This is a fundamental machine that this is like this is a money churner. What happens when you mess up the formula? That's really what I want to know. I think Microsoft made a big mistake. And I'm not saying it to be lightly either. I think if you put this under a lens, it makes no sense to put this in Game Pass. I'm cool that it's there. I'm cool that the multiplayer because and I'm not saying that they were going to keep this train going forever. But what I'm saying is they're the only one in the market. So if you decide to just throw it away and say, hey, we're going to give this to you for $15, you don't have to buy the entire game, but you can buy this portion of it and find value. It screams that they make way more money in microtransactions than the actual base game. That's what it screams. It screams that I don't know all the details. Because who would rightfully make that decision? Hey, by the way, this game here makes this amount of money a year. Your Game Pass subscription is already getting high praise. It's a huge benefit for the target audience that you're trying to target. How about we make that pot a little bit better and we give you a game that not only is highly anticipated, but also will make the value of your Game Pass subscription look different. How do we offload that cost? $3 extra a month ain't gonna cut it. That's just not what I'm thinking. I don't think $3 extra will cut the amount of money that it costs to put Call of Duty in Game Pass. I'm sorry, I hit my mic, but I think this is a big mistake, Phil. I really do. And for a lot of reasons, but the biggest component is that you're fundamentally breaking the Call of Duty structure. And maybe you didn't care about that structure anymore. Maybe you really just wanted to make a big blow at PlayStation. But I think it's stupid. And I think that it's going to fundamentally change. I'm making a big statement. I'm making a bold statement. But it's going to fundamentally change how we see Call of Duty in the future. After this year, I don't think Call of Duty will ever be the top selling game of the year anymore. That's just me. Ever again. I don't think it's going to happen. GTA 6 will be next year. Whatever From Software is working on, probably Bloodborne remake, going to be the next year. I don't see this ever being, again, top game selling. Might be a bold statement, but I think it's true. Anyways, that's all I got on Call of Duty. Anything to add to that? Anything you want to state before we move on?
Yeah, I was trying to find a number. In 2022, I guess is the most recent statistic. Call of Duty made 5.8 billion from microtransactions. So I think the reason they switched is just strictly because of microtransactions. If they put it on Game Pass, they losing out on the $70 purchase. But people gonna buy skins, which are like $20 each, and then they also have their battle pass and also the premium battle pass to give you more content in the battle pass. And neither of the battle passes can be bought with free currency. Like you need to, well, my bad. I think you can buy the basic battle pass with the free currency, but the premium black sell or whatever, that has to be real money. And that's $30. So if you're a regular Call of Duty player, every season, which is like 2 months or something like that, you're spending $30 on the game. plus you buying your own skins in the game because they're gonna come out the limited. Here's whatever popular show. Here's some wrestlers. Here's some superheroes. Whatever. They're gonna drop those every couple months. So, anyways, people are spending money on Call of Duty, and I think that losing out on the $70, but increasing the player base might be the goal. That being said, I think microtransaction wise, they will be still the leader. But yeah, as far as like individual game sales, yeah, that probably will impact it. But I think at that point, we just gonna have a different metric for counting
The
success
success of the
because
game.
yeah,
That makes sense. I ain't saying that they don't have Call of Duty Mobile and they don't have this game. But I guess I'm looking at it from the standpoint of the console sales because it costs more to make the console version. So if we're looking at it from an aspect of which portion of this is making it, and maybe that 5.8 billion is split between the console and the mobile version, I just wanted to see what those metrics are and how it makes sense. So yeah, I'm probably talking with not enough information, as you stated, because you kind of helped back up your claims, and I didn't have anything to back up mine. I just got a feeling that this thing ain't gonna hit the top no more, and
Mhm.
it may not be a big deal for most, but I think that there's a value into having a top selling game yearly and showcasing that why you're the big dog on the block. I think that yes, you're going to get a more bigger audience. Just the question is, will that bigger audience spend money? So we'll see. But yeah, I think Call of Duty is transitioning themselves. This is the I think what you're stating, Josh, and to kind of give you more backing to your claim is that when we were talking about this previously, they're trying to make a platform like a Fortnite where it's the low barrier of entry, but when you get in there, you're spending money and it's churning out more money than you could ever imagine. I think that they're trying to combine not only the free to play portion, but the paid premium content too, to make a package that is worthwhile. So we'll see. I still stand on it. It's a big mistake, but we'll see. What else? What else? What else? Big Sean, my boy, Big Sean, man. Maybe I should wait until after Xbox Phil Spencer. No, forget that. Big Sean. So it is. What is this? What is this? What is it? Which one is this one? Is this like his? How many albums? Big Sean has like 6 studio albums, 4 mixtapes. Jeez Louise. Yep. Finally famous, Hall of Fame, Dark Side of Paradise. I decided Detroit 2 better than me than you. The skinny of this one for me, and I'm gonna just kind of give a quick synopsis of the album for me, is that Better Me Than You probably has a flavor of everything, of rapidy rap, kind of conscious rapper, just talking about money and women, and it has a flow to it that has showcasing that basically that he's kind of elevated his ability to have a sound performance throughout the entire album. I didn't find like no bars that were cringy. I didn't find any bars that I felt like were out of place. I didn't find anything that I felt like, except for that one, maybe that one, the rock line. I was like, okay. But there was only a few things I felt like were there was only a few songs that I did not enjoy. And it's not even that I did not enjoy them. I was in the mood to listen to them. Like Break the Cycle. Some songs, sometimes I just feel like he made better songs like than that. Like Bigger Than Me, I felt like was a better song than Break the Cycle. But I feel like there's a concept there that he's following when it comes to song performance, song ability, and what he's trying to talk about. So when I find matches that are better, like Get You Back with the whole Sexy Sexy song, or doing all the other stuff, those type of songs I don't resonate with me well, but I've heard him done better elsewhere. So it's not that he's battling with others, he's battling with himself. And I feel like his discography is kind of long. So I always compare it back to everything else that I've heard from him through Finally Famous, Hall of Fame, Dark Sky Paradise, I Decided, Detroit 2, and some of his collaborative efforts like 2088, Double or Nothing, and then his mixtapes, which is like Detroit and the Final Families volumes. I ranked this one pretty much, and if you're not a big Sean fan, I guess his reputation for music and his reputation for making great music has always been how do you say, it's been a rocky experience for the guy. It's not that he's someone that people run to listen to. I feel like he has always conceptually been a well-rounded artist. I feel like he ascended to my top one in the I Decided area. Like when he did Dark Sky Paradise, I Decided, he kind of elevated, in my opinion, to a number one spot as my favorite artist because he was more well-rounded, he was more conceptual, he had the ability to rap about different topics in a meaningful way that felt like it resonated with me. So when he brought out Better Me Than You, this one kind of falls second into one of his second best album. Dark Sky Paradise being the number one for me, simply just due to the fact that it's probably if out of all his albums, it would probably be the most classic one due to the fact that it did the best in performance-wise, but it also had the most amount of standout features and songs on it. Then it comes Better Me Than You. That tells me that there's level of growth in this person that I feel like, I don't know, it can't be really matched. I don't really find a lot of growth in artists. I feel like the only ones that I can pull that from is J. Cole, Kendrick, and Big Sean. I'm not trying to hate on Drake. I just feel like there's not no real growth. There's just been a consistent level of bops. And that's great. But ain't no growth in bops. It's just consistent. He's just very consistent and talking about women and talking about them in a great way that make you want to dance. So that's cool. But when I talk about conceptual artists, people that can put it together a actual album, I'm kind of thinking about Lauryn Hill-esque. I'm talking about people that actually have a meaning behind what they say. So, do I think that this album is going to be for everybody? Yes, and I can tell you why. He broke this album out into like 4 different places: Pressure, Clarity, Focus, and shoot, I can't remember the last one. It's Clarity, Focus, Pressure, and crap. Anyway, there's 4 different concepts to the album, 4 different levels of like energy that I feel like there's going to be something that resonates with each person, or at least something that's going to have the ability to resonate with each person. Why can't I think of this last one? It's Pressure, Clarity, Focus, and Happiness. There it is. I'm kind of rambling, but what I really want to just say and get across with this album is that there is a level of care that was taking place within this album. There's a level of production and rapping ability that was showcased that actually did have some meaning to it, that had some value to it. But there was also just a lot of fun to have on the album that I didn't expect. Honestly, I thought this was going to be more of his I didn't think it was going to be a weaker showing, but I thought I was going to be expecting that his singles were going to be the ones that were most interesting and fun to listen to, and that's not the truth. The actual album itself has songs on there that are actually better than what his singles were. So you kind of get an understanding of what the singles can do and what they kind of what you expect when you kind of listening to an album. But honestly, I felt like it flowed well. I felt like it had a lot of songs on there that just kind of resonated well. And I think that in order, as you listen to the album, the singles even make sense. So I think it's better than Detroit 2. And I really did enjoy Detroit 2, but I feel like there's just a different level of production and clarity, no pun intended, into this Better Me Than You album. So if you haven't heard it, check it out. I don't want to take up too much time on a gaming podcast talking about Big Sean, but most of the time my man don't get the recognition that he deserves. I ain't gonna lie, and that's okay. But sometimes you just want to kind of praise people when they can, because I think that he does put out really good music, and give it a shot if you want to. But overall, at least, there's about 15 to 16 songs that I enjoy dearly, and I think there's like 3 songs that I don't care for, and that's a really good hitting ratio. That's a really good ratio there. So check it out if you want to. I think he did put a lot of effort into this one though. Any thoughts on that before we move into our last topic?
And I want to listen to the album.
You want to listen to the album now? Did I convince you, man? Did I actually convince you?
Yeah. My boy loves the Big Sean. I'm gonna give Big Sean another try.
Man, I guess it's not the fact that there is the try that has to occur. It's the fact that he doesn't get that off the strength, and I think that that's kind of criminal. I think he put out enough good music to actually kind of get that look without it. But I understand that people just kind of pick and choose what they want to listen to, and I get it.
I mean, you just said he had a rocky history with music, so I'm giving him a try.
I don't think that is a rocky history with. I think it's rocky history with the perception,
the political aspect of it.
Yeah, it's not the actual music. It's the actual perception of what success is and what they value as successful artists versus what he is. So it's a little different.
Yeah, I mean, he fall in a Wale category, so I mean,
yeah.
Anyway, I just had to give him a try. So I'm like, I listen to Big Sean. I don't think he make bad music. I think some of his music is good. I got Big Sean songs on my phone, but I was like, I'm gonna go listen to him despite what everybody else is saying. I'm gonna still give it a try. And I mean, I liked it. I liked it better than Detroit too. So I downloaded a couple of the songs and I was listening to some on the way to work today. I mean, it is what it is. Pun intended.
Yeah. So I think I'm hoping that he has his 4th #1 debut, but it probably may fall to some other music coming out, but we'll see. Like that would be his 4th. I think it was Dark Sky Paradise. I decided Detroit 2, and then that would be the 4th album that kind of peaked at #1. So, but yeah, man, my boy put out some more music. That's the value there. That's a value add. It's a good goddamn week. That's what I'll say. Good goddamn week. But yeah, let's move on then. Let's move into Xbox. Last topic, Phil Spencer. Phil hasn't been having the greatest time talking to people as of lately, with the whole messaging and problem with him stating that basically no games are going to be exclusive anymore. Even though he don't want to admit it, but ain't no game gonna be exclusive no more, man. You can get that out your head. If you want a console, buy a PlayStation. If you want to continue to be present in the ecosystem of Xbox, you can, but in every other way. You don't have to buy their console anymore, and that's just the facts. But they talked to him about a little bit of his decision making previously, and he kind of had some interesting thoughts. Well, he had some interesting statements. So one of the big headline for this IGN article made by Ryan Dinsdale is that I've made some of the worst game choice decisions. And in this article, they kind of go into some of the things that he actually had a look at before others, but he couldn't get his head around. So one of those things, and this is a key one, because I told y'all like twice, I think I told y'all plenty of times, that Destiny was a big factor in me buying a PS4. like a huge factor in me buying the PS4 because I was not going to buy one. And the exclusivity to it and the value of it kind of made me pique my interest more to where that was my machine of choice. And he said, I have to be honest, when Destiny 1 came out, I might have played some of the preview builds that we were doing on Xbox. It didn't really click with me. I'm not a big PvP player. You can see my player history is not a lot of what I do. And I was a little worried I was going to get thrown into a PvP world. And it turns out it was not what it was at all. And so when he was talking about it, the thing about Destiny is with just my history with Bungie and the evolution of working with games. I do love the local team. I have a lot of friends and they're still, and yes, they own the other guy now. The other guy owns them, blah, blah, blah. But I've always had a love in a team that I've always had a ton of affinity for. But what's interesting is that he passed on Bungie. He passed on the ability to have them as a IP under Xbox exclusively. This isn't like it's kind of like he said it's not a regret. He doesn't regret anything. He said he has no regrets. But man, could talk about a mess up. I really do feel like I've spoken to this so many freaking times that Destiny truly did sell a console. And regardless of what I want to think about the game, a lot of people opted for the PlayStation version simply due to the exclusivity of it and the exclusivity things that they were coming to it. Like, yeah. What would possess him to kind of like pass up on a history of Bungie and what they do, how they operate? I find that to be kind of crazy. And I think the key here is that having someone in the seat that may not be a great or big fan of PvE or PvP kind of showcases how these decisions sometimes get made. Like, generally speaking, he probably could not wrap his head around why this would be fun. And to think of it and a whole aspect of it, if I didn't have y'all to be on that game with me, I could probably feel the same way. Like, I got multiple friends around the world that's kind of like bringing together to culminate to this one game, right? And then he's sitting there playing it on his own, kind of probably not in the experience that you're thinking of. They have play testers running around. It's not the same. So, I don't know. Did Destiny 1 click for y'all immediately during that alpha? Or did it click later when like House of Wolves?
It clicked immediately for me. I was like, okay, kind of tight. Okay, tight.
I
I'm
think
like, I'm
so
getting it. Take
too.
my money now, bro. I'm like, that y'all. I'm getting what version that came out? The heroic edition. I'm like digital heroic edition or something like that. I'm like, here, man, take my money. I think it's like $80 or $90. I'm like, just get it from me already, bro. I'm sold.
Running around in that crappy Cosmodrome, shooting that one siphon. What was it? I think it was called the
Sepix.
Sepix. Yeah, we was killing that one Sepix, that one strike, and
And that
that
turtle
one,
thing.
and that loot cave.
His legs show up.
Like literally, I think it clicked immediately. We were running around that game trying to find all the secrets and find all the chests because we thought we could find an exotic. Like the day of the alpha. So how that didn't click for him, I don't know. It clicked for me immediately. I don't know. That's a crazy miss to me. But what's even crazier is not only that miss, he did the same thing with Guitar Hero when they went to Activision. He he got pitched Guitar Hero. Like, that really, really big peripheral that kind of changed the genre of how, I don't know, did Guitar Hero come before the Wii or was it after? I want to know that timeline.
It was the same generation, I think.
But I think the Wii
But the
was
Wii would have had to come
been
out first,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
was the same generation.
yeah. Okay, so in my opinion, I think the peripheral. I mean, I think the success of the Wii should have told them something about the peripherals. I just feel like he wasn't me. He wasn't catching the trends, man. It just definitely made me feel like, dang, I must be crazy. But I think looking in hindsight, you could say, oh yeah, this looked great. This is amazing. This is cool. But really, if you're sitting in there and you're trying to make a decision on a peripheral um, that is plastic and is a guitar, and it's like you're thinking focus groups of people that only want to play it as people that like guitars and like this type of music and this genre. You're looking at metrics there when you're really they tapped into a whole different market, because I was sitting in there straight up R&B and rap singing my heart out to some Aerosmith, like, and I was really the coldest, because it's not even about at that point like who it's built for. It was like just because it crossed barriers, and I think that was really cool about Guitar Hero. So to miss that too, man, I think that he got way more than that too. I think that this ain't the only two these are two big ones. Like to hear that you could have, we all knew that he could have owned Destiny, and I think he was lying when he said they didn't want to make a deal or whatever. I knew that that was a cap, but Guitar Hero is kind of crazy. Yeah, man. I didn't think that Phil made the decision on Destiny though. So now now I'm throwing that under his bucket. Trash decisions under Phil Spencer. I could have sworn that happened under the guy that brung out the Xbox One, but you're absolutely right that game came out on the it came out on the 3. No, it came out on the
Don Matrick left the first year, I think, of the Xbox One. So Phil Spencer would have came in, and then Destiny would have been in development at that point. But I think where it gets muddy is that Bungie left around the same time, so Microsoft should have known about Destiny, but maybe they had another talk about, okay, we pitching exclusivity to you now, and he didn't like that build of it or whatever.
Yeah, because it came out in 2014, September 9th. That was such a big moment. Because that console came out, PS4 came out in November 15th of 2013. Sheesh. And I waited that long to buy one because I didn't have one. I only had my Xbox One. 2014 came around. Boy, I bought that all white one. I was like, I ain't buying that garbage, because you was over there playing Warframe by yourself. I don't even think we was playing the game together. But then we was like, this the game we gonna play. And I was like, all right, cool. I just buy one. Because Josh had a Wii U. Crazy man. And you had but Josh, I think you had a Wii U and a PS4, right? I just don't remember. I don't remember. But I could have. I know.
I didn't get a PS4 until I got Destiny.
Yeah.
I remember he called me. He was like, "Man, which version of the PS4 should I get, man? I'm about to get Destiny. I'm in GameStop line right now." I
got it the day it came out.
We finna be in that mug.
Yeah, because I remember, because I got it, and we was talking to Josh, and then Josh went and got the same. Yes, I remember that. I remember that whole situation, and yeah, man, like I said,
that's when we was in the thing. I was in orbit with him, and I'm like, man, who was Beyonce 101?
Oh my god, bro. Yeah.
And then that's how the friendship began.
Exactly. On Destiny, bro. On Destiny. Ever since
like,
2013.
I don't even know how to play Destiny, man. I'm better at this game. I had it for 10 minutes. I had this game for 10 minutes, bro. And man, what? Yes, and I got the hero with digital deluxe edition.
Bro, yeah. Destiny was definitely a console seller. That is insane that they gave that up.
Look, Josh was in line getting the game.
Yes, bro. That was
getting a console for Destiny.
It was insane they gave that up, but Yeah, shout out to Phil. I mean, I just feel like he kind of missed the boat on that one, but hopefully we don't hear about no more horror stories. Um, and honestly, it didn't matter where it went. I just think that it's just such a cool freaking game when it first came out that can't get that back, man. Ain't no more experiences like that coming out no time soon. So I value it. I remember it. Still got clips from it, and I'm gonna keep them forever. Because that game was just that fun, that interesting, and that entertaining. So yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I ain't really got much else. Did y'all want to say anything before we get up out of here? Because we went over a little bit.
No, I was just gonna say it's clear Phil he doesn't like exclusivity as like a business deal
Yeah,
because those even you know uh I think I think skipping out on Guitar Hero as an exclusive probably would have been made more money for Microsoft, but at the end of it, Guitar Hero is kind of nothing now, so it doesn't really matter in that situation. And
yeah,
Destiny probably was better off as a multi-platform game overall, but missing out on those business deals early on hurt Microsoft, especially during that Xbox One generation. They needed all the help they can get because nobody was buying that console.
yeah,
So some of those deals that he passed out on would have helped the console, and I don't know um, what the decision making plans were with some exclusives that he picked up and other ones that he passed on. But yeah, I think in general he just doesn't like exclusives, and if the game is not like you know speaking to him directly, maybe he'll just pass on the exclusivity
yep,
because it's still gonna come to the system at the end of the day, but it's not a partnership. But
yep,
I don't know. I think he needs to be a little bit more. He should have been a little bit more aggressive. That would have helped regardless.
hmm
But yeah, I don't like exclusivity, so I'm not going to defend it. But he would, as a businessman, he should have been more aggressive. I think.
yeah. I don't. I think what exclusivity served was the people that are crazy about their consoles and the fun and like and challenging another console or people that enjoy another console, but there is really no merit to it. It does make the console gaming generation a little bit boring, because it's so level headed on everything now. It is a boring experience now. I can say that it was more entertaining to watch people scream and shout about the exclusive games that they had versus exclusive games that others have. Now all they can scream and shout about is the performance, and nobody cares that you get two more frames than the other person. So there's really a boring aspect to the gaming generation as a whole. Even if they are great games, I think because they come everywhere, people feel like there is not a lot of meaningful wins. And I understand that. But at the same time, I feel like there's like people need to grow up, people need to change, and there's value in the I think that it just had to change to kind of keep the gaming industry going. I feel like it's dying in front of us and we don't even realize it. But yeah, we making profits are up as much as it possibly can be. We got not profit, revenues are up, but the profit is like margin is getting tighter and tighter. They're basically running grocery stores at this point. So what's the point? So they got to figure out a way to make it work. So yeah, man. I just think that I think that this is going to be the new norm. It's fine. You can play your games anywhere. They need to sell you on convenience. And who's going to make it most convenient? So, as long as that's the North Star, I don't really think we can go wrong. Anywho's, that's it. Thank you guys for listening. If you got to this part, you're the real OG. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, sharing, commenting, doing what you do. Provide some topics for next week if you want. But I just appreciate you getting to this part. Thank you again. Go check out Big Sean album. Just plug that one more time. But yeah, we out of here. We will see you all in a week. Hopefully more topics. Hopefully more games being played.
Peace.